Yo, my name's T. Peters and I just spoke to BBC4 about music and AI because Warner Music has done a partnership with Suno AI, and in this video I'm going to show you two things really. One is the actual interview that I did on radio. It got cut really short because in the UK we've got a big thing happening, which is just the budget for the government and the country, so that took up most of the news. However, because the interview got cut, I also speak directly to you guys about what I would have said if I got to do that interview properly. I want to hear your thoughts about this topic as well if you're interested in this type of thing. If you don't know, I was recently, no, this was like 3 years ago, I was on Sky News as well talking about AI and the implications it has for young people who are from disadvantaged backgrounds and how they can potentially use it as a tool to progress in their careers. Since then, my opinions have kind of developed further as I've lived with AI and seen the news and things like this. So this is like my up-to-date response because times change, you know what I'm saying? And that is on the biggest Sky News platform. So now that I'm back on another big platform, the BBC Radio 4, let us go. Let's go and set the record straight with my own updates. So yeah, I'm still learning, as you are too. Let's communicate in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Let's watch the video.
And T. Peters is a musician and mentor who works with the charity Youth Music. T, Ed, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
T, if I could just start with you. In broad terms, before we get to this deal, how do you think about AI and music, T? Do you think of it as a threat, an opportunity, or some combination of the two?
I think that, yeah, it's a combination between the two. It's all about education and understanding in terms of what's actually going on in the industry and with that technology. Obviously, it's allowing a lot more artists to have access to skills and education in music so that they can actually enjoy the process more. But at the same time, you know, when you've got massive organizations getting involved with massive scale things, you can actually really kind of affect the business in a negative way as well, possibly for artists that are coming up. They might not be able to, you know, grow in the careers that they want to grow in because of money.
Yeah, and I know you're trying to fight some of those trends with youth music. We'll come back to that in a second. Ed, just before we tell our listeners what you think of this deal, can you just describe what the deal is? What has happened here?
Yeah, well, so the issue around lots of these AI companies is that they build their models using real musicians' work. So they build their AI systems using people's work, and those systems will then compete with those musicians. And they do all this without asking permission or without paying for that music. And so basically these lawsuits that the record labels brought against this company and one other basically said, you can't do this. You know, you've got to pay us if you're going to use our music. And I think a lot of musicians really got behind that. Musicians aren't always aligned with record labels, but in this instance, everyone said, of course you've got to pay. If you want to use our music to compete with us, you've got to pay us. So the record label sued them. And now those AI companies are indeed, as part of this settlement, going to license those companies' music, right? So I see this as a big win. This is not, I don't think this settlement is a big statement about the future of AI music. I think what it is a conversation about the practices behind how these models are built and making sure they're built fairly. And I think it's a big win for the creative community that we have reached this settlement and that in going forward, this company is going to pay for the music they train on.
But so if we look at the long history of music, what's the kind of, if we try to come up with a historical comparison, what's the phase we're moving out of and what's the phase we're moving into?
Well, I think the closest sort of similarity is sort of what happened with Napster and Spotify. When Napster came along with peer-to-peer file sharing, everyone took advantage of it, thought, oh, this is good fun. Musicians and rights holders pointed out, well, hang on, this is going to destroy our business and is entirely unfair. And gradually what happened is we didn't go back to downloads. What happened is that we went forward to licensed streaming.
Right, which is what...
And with Spotify and with Deezer and lots of other platforms.
Which is what happened.
And that's what's happening here.
And T, if someone who's listening to you now wants to use AI to advance their music career, what's your advice to them?
My advice is, firstly, because I mentor so many young people and I also myself, I'm growing in my career, I'm always thinking, how can I use these opportunities to create experiences that will impact my potential fans going forward, and also obviously give me a long-lasting career, right? So for me, I would just say educate yourselves as much as possible and make connections with people that can actually give people the opportunities to use AI in that way so that you can actually like create exciting stuff.
Got to leave it there. T, Ed, thank you.
Because that's all from us. Have a very good day.
Oh my days. Hey Laurie, thank you again for the opportunity. Very strange. The the interview was cut short basically. Hopefully it helped in some way. Yeah, for myself and for anybody else. Yeah, I'm actually like, this is me messaging you with the literal reaction after doing it. So it was like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. Look, so the BBC4 interview I just did got cut short. So here's what I would have said on radio if I actually had more than 10 seconds to speak. I don't even know. Maybe, to be honest, I say that maybe I spoke for too long. Maybe it was me, but here's what I would have said. Warner and Suno have partnered up and basically created this opportunity for themselves to basically work together to give consumers AI music through the Suno platform, right? And Warner artists are going to be able to basically opt in. They can say yes or no to it, but they're going to be able to have their music or maybe like their likeness featured in the in the Suno platform, right? So here are the thoughts that I would have said if I actually had more time on radio today. My name is T Peters and I'm a music artist. I make music that sounds like a slice of someone's life, usually mine, but I get inspired a lot by different stories. So, life can be chill, it can be reflective, but it can also be exciting. So I think my music just speaks to life and all the various things that come with it, right? But as a music artist myself, I'm also a program producer, so I help loads of young people every single day with getting more confident in their music careers. So through this time, I run a organization, music program called Wired for Music, but I've also participated in these same types of programs. For example, Youth Music, one of their next gen funded people. So they've given me funding to basically run some of my music career, which has been really helpful. So I'm very much in the fields when it comes to the London music scene and trying to grow in your career. With that said, when I think about Suno and Warner teaming up, the first thing I think about is this idea that Suno is one of the biggest platforms in the game right now. They have about 100 million people, nearly 100 million people sign up to their platform, right? So that's a lot of people. Then you've got Warner, who are like one of the biggest record labels in the world. You got these two entities making a deal, and then there's a third entity that we need to think about, which is the artists. A lot of people will say artists are winning right now, but honestly, I'm not sure. It could be, it could not be. The reason why I say that is because artists are seen, from where I'm from, artists are seen and made to feel like they are just applicants to things rather than people that are in control. Artists are made to feel like they're applying for opportunities. They are asked to apply to perform at the biggest festivals if they want to grow in their career. They're asked to apply to work with record labels and have their music career change their lives by applying to be part of a record label. Artists are known as applicants. So the mentality and the mindset that artists go through on a daily, it's not the same as what those two big entities have in their mindset. Their mindset is leading. So artists, right, if the majority of the artists are seeing themselves as applicants and two of the biggest giants are teaming up, those two giants have the power to create ideas, contracts and plans that will impact artists, and they are going to be asking artists to apply to join them. It's not going to really be the other way around unless artists actually stand up for themselves and speak about what they believe is right. Do you know what I'm saying? So from my perspective, artists are tempted all the time to apply for things, and honestly, it's not always the artist's fault, but like it does come down to a lack of education about things. So I'm encouraging artists to just do research and upskill themselves so that they understand what they're getting into and what they're walking into, especially when it comes to the subject of AI, so that they can empower themselves to be able to overcome any situation and know what they're saying yes and know what they're saying no to, and also give themselves the opportunity to negotiate deals that truly benefit artists that are coming up in the game. I can't speak for massive celebrities. I can only speak to people that are in my level and below, and no one's below me, but like in terms of career experience, right? And so when I'm thinking about us, artists that are coming up in the game, we need to be educated so that we can actually respond properly to things. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of this conversation about artists are the winners of things because of massive companies are teaming up. No, artists should be winners because artists win. Artists should be making decisions for themselves, negotiating and having a winner's mindset. You know what I'm saying? That actually advocates for themselves so that they are the ones that are impacting things. Putting all the power into bigger companies and letting them do the big things is not what's going to save you. It starts with yourself and your community. Do you know what I'm saying? Because those people, they don't understand. None of them are age 16 to 25-year-olds from a disadvantaged background. Most of them are not that. So how can they really advocate for you and help you win in the best way that's bespoke to you? Do you know what I'm saying? That's generally my overall thoughts on the subject. It's not about is this a win or not. It's not about is this exciting or not. Tech is exciting. I personally love tech, but if it's about artists and who's going to be winning, it's not about that. This is just about companies doing what companies do, and it's up to us to decide how we want to respond to it. That's all I've got to say on that. If you're looking for some real human music, you want something honest, heartfelt, and all about overcoming real challenges that you face in life, then I've got an album for you. I'm working on my first full album. It's called Into Light, and I've just released it to give you early access. This is my first ever album after being let down by multiple labels all over 2025. So this was my chance to produce music that I fully believe in and have full control over. I'm not waiting for approval. I'm not waiting for permission. None of that. Into Light is going to blend UK jazz rap with grime, soulful hip hop, and most importantly, purposeful lyrics about real life experiences. I'm going to talk about my hopes, my dreams, but more importantly, what is the experience of somebody trying to stay positive in a world that just wants to bring you down? It's not super positive and it's not super negative. It's all about that in-between experience that we all go through in life. So why early access, T? If you're a gamer, you will recognize this term. Early access basically means giving you access to my project in advance so that while you enjoy it, I can actually get feedback from you because I'm not actually finished with it yet. I got more music that I want to add to the story and I just want to give an early version to you, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, through listening to your feedback and your response to it, it will help me shape the final project. So how do you join? Use the link below to access the first version of the project all the way from now until December the 16th. After December the 16th, the full project will be available on streaming services, but that's not even going to be the final version. That's just going to be available on streaming services because I want it there, right? Inside the link, there'll be a chat function so that you can actually give me feedback directly on specific songs and specific moments. So please comment your favorite tracks, your favorite lines, all of that, please. I will literally read everything. And my hope is that on December the 16th, we can encourage the rest of the world to listen to the current version of the project. After that, I'm going to try and keep updating the project until March 2026 with some final songs. I can't lie, I made a banger that I think you'll love, and I'm looking forward to finishing that, but I'm taking my time with it, for example. So right now, March 2026 is the goal. But yeah, if this sounds like an album that you would connect with, please get in touch, click that link, and sign up to listen to the early access version of Into Light. I really appreciate you guys, man. Take care. In a bit. Yo, so in the spirit of this, I wanted to say, have a listen to some of the singles that from the project that are already out now. You can click on the playlist link and you can actually listen to Sunday Choir is out, Ready is out, and Dark. I forgot there's other ones, but you can listen to my music here because these same tracks are also on the project, but you also get visuals like music videos for them as well. So yeah, that's just an opportunity if you want to stay on YouTube. Anyway, peace out.